Hello, I'm Dr. Leslie Bleamaster, an administrator and part-time professor of geosciences at Trinity University. I have spent my career specializing in planetary geology. That is where we take our understanding of Earth processes and apply them to our nearest neighbors in the solar system, in particular Venus and Mars. Every rock has a story. Every painting tells a tale. As I am a geologist, it is likely not surprising to anyone to learn that when I look out over the horizon, fly overhead in a plane, or drive down the highway, I often wonder about what the land is made of and how it came to be. What is the story? What surprised me, however, is that I bring that same curiosity not only to the world around me, but also when looking at art. In particular, Asher Brown Durand's landscape, Haystack Mountain, 1852. When investigating a rock in one's hand, one is, to the trained eye at least, provided an abundance of detail. One can determine what the rock is made of, how rapidly or slowly it may have cooled from lava or magma. Was it shaped by running water, or blowing wind, or grinding ice, or the immense pressure from within the earth? But what is missing is the geologic context. Meaning, a rock in one's hand, without knowing where it came from or how it was positioned and related to other rocks, provides an ambiguous interpretation at best. Durand's painting of Haystack Mountain provides almost the opposite circumstance to the geologist. The painting, as is a photograph or simply looking at the landscape from afar, is all context and no detail. In knowing the general location, the broad geologic history, and considering the geomorphology, that is, the shape of the landforms, one can broadly interpret how the landscape came to be. However, without explicit knowledge of Haystack Mountain and its surroundings, one is left to speculate, forced to tease details from the subtle brushstrokes and color palette, guessing at whether the artist's depiction is a representation of reality or full of artistic license. Located in southwestern Vermont, it is best surmised that Haystack Mountain, part of the Green Mountains, is the result of the tectonic orogeny during the Cambrian and Ordovician periods, about 450 to 500 million years ago. Orogeny means mountain building, and it is the result of slow-moving tectonic plates colliding on the surface of the Earth. Think of the current Himalayan mountains as an example. During the tectonic orogeny, deep sea sediments in a volcanic island arc were faulted, folded, squished, and metamorphosed into an elongate repeating tapestry of rock assemblages, much like a carpet being rolled and folded upon itself. Interestingly, these rocks in Vermont are also sandwiched between multiple other orogenic belts. Rocks of the Grenville orogeny to the west, from over 1 billion years ago, which have an interesting genetic relationship to our very own Central Texas Llano uplift, and rocks from the Caledonian, Acadian, Ouachita, and Alleghenian orogenies to the east, responsible for what we know as the Appalachian Mountains. When I see Haystack Mountain, I think about the slow eastward migration of the now Atlantic coastline, growing through a succession of orogenic events over 1 billion years in the making, resulting in the expansion of the North American continental landmass. Also, as a geologist, I think about what happens below the surface, as that sets the stage for the evolution of a landscape. While originally formed in the Cambrian period, Haystack Mountain, as seen today, was not visible at the surface of the Earth. Rather, those rocks were locked deep underground, representing the crustal roots of an ancient, mighty alpine system of the East Coast during the Ordovician. Haystack Mountain of today only began to be revealed during the Cenozoic era, a mere 65 million years ago. The exposure of Haystack Mountain being the result of more recent, geologically speaking, uplift and erosion of the eastern U.S., which has removed kilometers of rock and soil overburden. During this uplift, surface processes have differentially eroded the rocks. Some rocks and minerals erode easily and are carried away by the streams and wind, while others stand strong, creating local topographic highs. Haystack Mountain is just one of many aligned and sometimes elongated, high-standing bald knobs in a series of parallel ridges, likely composed of strong silica-rich minerals, and valleys, many filled with naturally clay-lined ponds, as seen in Durand's painting. As the mantra of one of my former professors goes, tough rocks make steep slopes. Haystack Mountain must be a tough rock, but without a piece of it in my hand, I can only assume. Art captures a moment in history, not only in the literal sense by the content depicted in paintings, but by reflecting the knowledge and methods of the age, the artist's style, their technique, the overall composition. Geology, too, captures a moment in time, a window into the past. A seemingly permanent window, but that is false. The land, as art and music and language and culture do, is always changing, sometimes imperceptibly slow, and sometimes in catastrophic shifts. If I were to have the chance to hike up Haystack Mountain, I would not be able to stop thinking about how its present-day existence represents such a small window of geologic history, and the serendipity of it and I converging in existence in the same space-time, the mere coincidence of our two timelines intersecting, as nearly coincidental as walking through a museum and giving time to admire the brush technique, color choice, composition, light source, and depths of shadow of a random landscape among hundreds in the gallery hall. The landscape, as is the painting, are mere glimpses into the past left for us to interpret, question, experience, appreciate, or even ignore. It's up to you.